The biggest pandemic we have right now going on this planet is our inability to connect with our bodies. Look at emotions. Emotions is energy in motion. And a lot of us grew up unable to connect with those emotions, either being told that we had to suppress them, that good girls don't cry or men don't get sad, that we were seen as potentially weak and we were shamed out of our emotions. But in the essence of the emotion is the gift of connecting deeper to your truest desires and needs. So we literally severed ourselves from our authentic selves. And when we sever ourselves from our authentic selves, we also cut ourselves from any connection to the divine, any way that we can truly free ourselves and live fully. And that means embracing the ups and the downs. So what I've been feeling into in my own experience with my own emotional mess and processing during the past years is the reconnection to your body, and just to slowly create that safety for yourself, because a lot of the times you're not going to feel safe or comfortable expressing an emotion if you don't feel safe in your environment, right? So number one thing I would offer is take space. Take space. If you're telling me, Sophia, I don't have space, take 3 deep breaths, right? If you're feeling something rise up and you're in a boardroom of people, then take 3 deep breaths. Because what's happening is that we are being triggered by our external environment. Our nervous system is being triggered and it's being felt in the body. Our body thinks that there's an attack, right? And this can stem from something you heard back in the day, but it's very live and raw and felt in your body in the moment, right? So we need to be able to connect and to regulate our nervous system and to allow ourselves, when the space is created, to fully feel. So maybe in that moment in the boardroom, you're like, well, I'm not gonna go rage and punch a pillow and dance like a wild woman. Okay, maybe not. But are you gonna be able to find your center in that moment? And maybe choose silence over a knee-jerk reaction that you may have done in the past, right? Which is triggering a wound deep down. And then, are you going to take the time, maybe after work or after that meeting, to go out for a walk and to maybe have a cry, whatever's coming up for you, to have a punch in a soft soil, to hug yourself, to allow yourself to wail? This is where I find people getting stuck, is that they're not allowing themselves to feel the pain, the anger, the grief. It's just this bottling up, the suppression. What happens is going to pop up in another space in your life, in another moment, and it's never going to be felt fully. And it's going to come in a loop. And with this aversion to feel our feelings, to actually face our pain and our deepest fear, then we are we are literally hindering ourselves from our own self-actualization and growth. So it's really ironic, because in not allowing ourselves to feel the pain, we are creating more suffering, right? We're intelligent human beings, right? So the invitation is, again, take space, take those 3 deep breaths, find that balance, find that center. If you're in a space and a situation where you cannot take a lot of space to really go out and just feel the emotions, but always come back to it, right? Always come back to that emotion when you have carved that time out, and just go for it. And this is when you'll be noticing, damn, I've been holding on to a lot of shit, right? I've been holding on to, honestly, anger and sadness and grief and all this stuff that is not yours to hold. A lot of the times we energetically hold things that are not ours. Okay? And a lot of the times we hold on to experiences that we were not able to process in our past, in our childhood that is coming up now in adulthood. That's why sometimes we can hear it or hear the word an adult child, and it's referring to that. Think of a kid that's throwing a tantrum. We're the same thing as many adults are in a different, slightly way. You may not see a kid or an adult throwing a tantrum, but that's essentially what we want to do, right? In a safe space, holding ourselves with so much loving compassion and allowing ourselves to feel. So we're creating that beautiful masculine energy, the holding safe container, and we're allowing that feminine energy, that emotion, that energy, that Shakti energy to flow through us. So it wants to flow through us. And that's when you'll feel this feeling of kind of calmness. If anybody had a really good cry, which if you're human, I'm assuming you did, that's the feeling, that kind of freedom and lightness that comes after an emotional release, a cathartic release is also another word you can say. It's just this exhale. It's like a ha, and we come into that state of equanimity and this like inner balance. And I like to give the analogy of the eye of the hurricane. When you've given yourself a shake, you've cried, you've punched, you've screamed underwater, whatever you need, and then you're coming to the space where insights arise, right? This is when your anger can turn into passion, right? When you see your sadness, your grief turn into so much compassion and self-love and nurturing, right? And this is when you journal. This is when things come through, and this is when you're downloading and integrating your experience, okay? And at the end, to close that loop, that experience, because it's heavy when you're feeling the raw emotion, then it's a lot. And you want to make sure that you give yourself that self-care, whether that's a nice bath, whether that's a really healthy, warm, home-cooked meal prepared with so much love. Maybe that's treating yourself to a massage the next day, right? There are so many beautiful self-care practices, and you choose the one that resonates the most with you. So my loves, bottom line, create space, breathe, allow the release, feel the emotion physically, and integrate through journaling. Write it out, right? There's no shame in feeling your emotions. And of course, you're gonna face resistance, because if feeling your feels is unfamiliar to you, it's a practice. It's gonna take time to get comfortable with allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to cry, to scream, to wail, to dance in ways that you never thought were really possible because you were taught that people don't dance like that, or you should be dancing like this. No. Fuck that. You feel what you need to feel, right? Create that safe container for yourself and allow that energy to move through you. And you'll be surprised at the magic that comes through after. Okay, loves. Leave me a comment if you feel called to share your own experience or an experience you've had in the past or something you're going through. I'd love to connect to you and to hear about your story. And until next time, lots of love goes to you, because this is not easy. There's nothing easy about this. If you're truly, truly committed to healing sustainably for good and to really step into your power, going through the pain and facing your pain, facing your shadows ultimately is the way through. A lot of self-love, a lot of compassion and patience, because it's a process. All right, love.